The robots are coming. The robots are coming. Well, maybe they're already here. We keep seeing little teasers here and there, but Tesla is so far behind the competition. It's not even funny. Well, I'm not laughing, certainly because we don't know where Tesla's at. And the only times we get to see demos is when a company is very excited about what they want to show, but they have to hold something back. So investors and competitors don't always know the latest. I've got Herbert here from Brighter. We're going to discuss. I'm going to be playing a very cynical, critical role where I tell him why robots won't work, specifically Tesla bots, and he tells me why I am crazy. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So, over the last few days, we've had a chance to see some robotics from Tesla in ways that I wasn't expecting. We saw the robot in attendance at a meeting with Secretary Sean Duffy. Um, and we got to see his hands, the Optimus hands, the newer ones. But we've also gotten to see some other video footage. Are the robots, first of all, are they happening at all?
That's a nuanced answer to that, right? Depending on how you want to look at things. So, first of all, there is a lot of smoke and mirrors. So, there's no doubt about it. Every video demo that we are watching as consumers, dropping from Chinese to Figure to Tesla, a lot of them, you're being fooled, right? When you're looking at something, you think what you're seeing, but right, they have multiple takes. They have really had to train that bot for so long for different methods to try to get there. Well, having said that, so clearly that's the case. But having said that, there is progress that's happening. And there's two things you need to look at, right? The hardware progress and the software progress, the intelligence and so forth. And what's happening is that they're both kind of leapfrogging each other. So what is true is that for both of them, there's been significant technology breakthroughs. And so what people used to think would take years or was impossible, all of a sudden is no longer impossible. And you can hear that from the experts, the people from basically industry wide, right? All the technologists, all the AI experts out there, as they themselves are testing this. The questions you have to ask is durability, uptime, quality, confidence level, and those kind of things, speed, right? And they rarely share you those metrics. You just watch a video. And I've been doing a lot of videos, and I'll be doing more with Scott Walter, who's a robotics expert. He will take the time to take a demo video and actually measure to see how fast these bots are able to move. And so one of his big criticism for the Tesla bot and all the other ones, by the way, is speed of walking, for example. So you can say, hey, the bot's walking now. This is cool. But if you measure how fast they walk, they only walk 1.5 miles per hour. You need to be around a human scale, which is around 3 miles per hour. So they're still too slow. The latest drop by demo by Tesla, though, you can see how quickly it's moving with the dance moves. That made him much more confident now that they've hit that mark. He believes that they're now able to walk 3 miles per hour at this point. He wants them to confirm it. So, when you're asked the question, are they happening or not? It depends on what your definition is, right? So, do these bots exist? Yes, they absolutely exist. So for people who don't think that they're all CGI, they're not CGI. What you're watching is a real bot. I physically were in several factories. I've interviewed 13 CEOs of humanoid robot companies. I've asked them the tough questions. I've physically been there, seeing their, under NDA, seeing their bots. They exist. Are they capable of doing useful work? The answer is yes. If your definition of useful work is pick and place, there is already a company called Digit that that can already, from a company called Agility, the bot's called Digit, that is already today working right in factories, real businesses. It will grab a package and move it from one place to another. That is achievable at this point. And by the way, there is millions of jobs available for pick and place. So if that's all you do, pick and place, in the next year or two, there is useful work. That useful work is a definition where the bot is actually able to perform the work. And then the question you have to ask is, what is the quality, right? The quality level. Like if they can do a task, grab and move, but then they're only 85% success rates. 15% of the time they drop the box, they make a mistake, they don't know what to do. That's not good enough. They need to get to 99% of perfect quality. That's the metric we don't know. We don't know yet. But as we start hearing more and more companies actually adopt these, and actually use them, that's when you know for sure that they've hit the useful work, right? How long does it take them to recharge the battery, or does you take two? Is this just a test lab, and you're willing to, to suffer with all these negatives? And I think that's where we're at right now. So no bot has been proven to be able to do useful work, even the digit ones that are actually physically there now. So it's, but the question is, can they get there? In that there's no rate limiting step to that. Why isn't it possible to increase quality, to increase speed? Those are not debated. There's no debate whether or not that's even possible. Those will happen.
So, we've seen some pretty fantastic physical demonstrations, but I would argue that a lot of the real benefit is not in the body, it's in the brain. If I'm going to put up a kiosk at the airport with information, I'm probably going to be paying in total about 30 bucks an hour to have someone sit there. But what would I pay if that person could speak more than one language?
Yeah.
What would I pay if that person could speak every language? Have a universal interpreter there for that purpose. And that's a robot that doesn't even have to move. It can move, but these are, I think, what's been holding robotics back for the last 30 years, because we've seen some fantastic demos. Asimo's got to be probably over 20 at this point, um, is that the brain just
Yeah.
wasn't there.
Yeah.
Um, Now, on bots, if the first generation costs $100,000, will they be able to sell them?
Yeah. So we know already today that of over 60% of all Fortune 50 companies have reached out to these CEOs. So the demand is off the hook. Um, Walmart knows that if they don't put in their order today, but Target did, that they're going to be in a significant disadvantage years from now. So they will all be there testing this out. This is so important. And the very first bots, where our estimates is that they companies are willing to pay $100,000 per bot per year.
Per
And
year?
per year, per bot per year, not just 100,000 one
Ooh.
time, because the benefit to them, outsurpasses the cost of a minimum wage worker. So the margins, the benefit is so high that it's not like electric vehicles where many vendors died. There will be many humanoid vendors that will die, but the difference is that it's unlimited use cases, and the margins are so high, and the demand is so high. So the demand is not the issue. And yes, they will be able to sell 100,000, $200,000 bots at the very beginning. Now, over time, as more bot makers make bots and things go down, then the prices will fall and they'll be competitive. There's no competition. It's a blue ocean for the next 5 years at least, if not longer than that. So I'm not worried about that at all.
So when you look at the utility of a new robot, I'm not going to buy one. My company's going to wait because
Hmm.
it doesn't know how to do all the things I want it to do. Is
Yeah,
that valid?
of course. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But what about over
We're
the air updates?
yeah,
I mean,
we're
if the hardware works, then
Yeah. So we're still too early at this stage to, like, you do need early adopter companies to step up and do this today. None of the bot makers, honestly, just to be clear, because the hardware, what you don't know yet is how long these actuators last. And the actuators, the reason why we focus on the actuator, because of all the hardware of a humanoid bot, there's 42 actuators. Like, they're the one part that is so many, and so they're the ones that will contribute to the most amount of the cost of the bot. And they're the ones that move. And if they can carry 50 pounds, but they keep doing that same movement, but then they die in 3 months or 6 months, which is what many robot vendors are experiencing, that's not good enough. That's not, it's not yet worth it at this point. So they have to prove to you that these bots can actually, they've solved the hardware to be able to then scale and make that happening. So that's and back to this, the design, by the way, just to go back to that, you were saying, like, does it matter about moving? Every bot vendor has to make a design choice, a design trade-off. I just did his video with Scott Walter, and he was saying, hey, the Optimus bot, Tesla's bot, cannot play soccer because of the way that the hips are designed, that it cannot kick a soccer ball, but the other bot vendors can. Do you need a bot to kick? Apparently, what the Tesla bot optimized for is, they said, we think that, the vast majority of useful work is a bot standing and standing for a long time. And so Chinese vendors, they've been dropping videos of my bot can somersault, my bot can run so fast. What's the value of you optimizing creating a bot that can do somersaults and run so fast? There will be some use cases where that would be useful, but for the use cases in the factory that Tesla is launching for this year, they're designing their bot in such a way that it doesn't have to kick a football, right? They just need to walk fast enough to get and to maneuver. If you saw the dance moves, it can maneuver. So if I pick and place, I need to grab a package, I need to be able to pirouette, right? Like do that quick, like how you would do it. Grab a box and move it around. But have you seen those videos where you see a robot pick a package and then turn? It's like step, 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 right? Because it doesn't have that ability to just step over and then twist. These are things that if you design the bot to be able to do that, it doesn't have to run fast. In fact, less than 5 miles per hour. In fact, that's the design criteria that Elon gave to the bot managers. We don't want it to run faster than 5 miles per hour. Anything more than that, it's too dangerous. It's not necessary for home or for factory use. But why would you need a bot to run fast? Why would you need it to do a flip? There's very few cases where that's required. They're just doing it for raising money and to showcase that they are ahead of the pack, to try to literally leapfrog other vendors, say, we're the best. But reality is the lower part of the body is not as important as the hands and the intelligence. The hands, you take the bot. Scott jokes around that the only reason for the legs and feet is to take the hands to wherever it needs to go. Because the hands is what manipulates and does 90% of all useful work is done by hands. And that's what Tesla is optimizing for.
I would agree with all that. What I told Dr. Scott Walter was that it's not the hips that are the problem with kicking a soccer ball. It's that it perfectly trained using me for the data. So that's
Yeah.
how I kick is crooked. And
Yeah. Don't use you.
don't model. Just like with FSD, I said, don't model my driving. What are you doing? No, model a better
Mhm.
driver than me. And of course, as you know, all drivers are above average drivers. Just ask them. In my life, I've probably met 2 people who were capable of admitting they were below average drivers, and they were bad. They were dangerous people who should not have been on the road.
Mhm.
Guys, we got to wrap this up. We got to get on with our day. We've got a live stream to do. If you're not joining us Wednesday for the live stream, which is typically co-hosted by Nick from Investing Against the Grain, what are you doing? It is a lot of fun. And then I have an after show where I answer your questions. Guys, subscribe if you haven't. Head over to Herbert's channel if you haven't, which I would find hard to believe, but still, there's got to be someone out there. And everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you, clever robots, next time I bring Herbert back for a clever little chat.